First for inviting me here to speak this morning. And when I got the invitation, I was, how do I say, I was really excited. This is the first of its kind, the first time that something like this is being organized. And I really applaud the organizers for taking the step and for having the courage to organize a program such as this. And I also want to thank our NBCC General Secretary, Reverend Kevichusa, for giving us the support that we need. And I was just telling him earlier that, that God was the first designer. God made clothes for Adam and Eve, so God was the first designer. So we are following in His footsteps. I have 20 minutes, so I'm going to be fast. Okay, my journey start my 7-8 years. When I was 7-8 years, another start crochet. Or can I start crochet? By the time I was 7 or 8 years old, I already knew that my designer it was my dream. And my wedding gown or evening gown, it was so class 10 class 9, 8 can be maths, can be and all those things. And I was a good student. Student memorize I was hard worker. Textbook can picture drawing. Na my kikan sundar or mola suko de sundar dikhena na gown kan lai na evening gowns, wedding gowns, and I drawing horta. Class 10 ko to mashe budo ene aro puru mon nai da bhabishde ene direct budo designing jabo bolebi. Those days parents can do, they didn't understand that. Now our parents la generation, maybe you all are younger, so your parents will do more understanding. But wala la time do amala parents can do either government job or you go for being a doctor or an engineer because alak to ekubi na jane do, especially mga Nagaland. So my parents said let me 12 because elders as an example show 12 kotom then it was there BA. So my dad said all my children have to be graduates. So so I thought let me do it and I'll follow my dreams. So I went and I did my BA. Then after that so I said okay, let me go for designing. And I'm going to institute Bombay they joined I didn't like the institute. Maybe I was too, I don't know. I was too old for that. So I quit. And then I went through a phase where I was so lost. And I went on there, how do you tell the whole story? 20 minutes, but I'll try to be fast. And on them way, then I entered into a relationship with God. I came to know God in a very personal way. And I felt that God was telling me to give everything up and I was a missionary home. So I did that. I joined this organization called Youth with a Mission. And I'm going to move my whole life and I want them there. God, when I was in Youth with a Mission, I'm going to be fast. God started speaking to me again in my heart that moi designing pickup for people. And I was saying, wow, my missionary hobo, my whole life, one mission, then my village to Taibo, and I gave my life. And what is this? It's so wrong. Maybe God doesn't need me anymore. When I shared it to my leaders prayed about it. My national leaders prayed about it, and they said, no, we feel that you have to go back to designing. And that was how my journey started again. And I'm gonna Moses promised land the journey. A promised land, the Israelite promised land the journey. I went to Bombay and I joined a tailoring course. And I had a 1 year intensive tailoring course. Then after that I had the good fortune of going to Australia. And I finished my 2-year course in clothing industry studies when I'm But even after till that, my aha, one thing I have to tell you is that I didn't take my career seriously. I was not serious about my career. And I think deep down, I was almost ashamed of being a designer. So strange, when I look back now. Because especially itu time muhan young designer boy, fashion boy, people used to look down. Fashion boy, any entertainment has all these people who are they just models and all that, just want to entertain people. It was not a serious profession. And no. So for me, I think that I took people's opinions, to my heart, and I was also almost ashamed of being a designer. Kiki kan form fill up kan to be profession kan designer kan kibuli nijobi ola kiba lage reluctant na. And I would share, but then my life took. Then there was a point of time where, yes, then I was with my parents and kuribo designing the fashion show ekta duita but full serious career puranai. Wedding down ekta duita then I would blow up my money, travel, na. Seriously, no, because I was still with my parents now. And I went then I got married. Then there was a time when I completely almost stopped designing. And algorithm then unfortunately my life fell apart and I got divorced. Okay. So now I'm on my own. I need a career. Nah. I need to stand up on my feet now. And so then I remember my father said, you should go back to designing. And I was saying, no, it was like very thing for me to go back to designing. But in a strange way, the door started opening up for me. And then I slowly got back into designing. And I started a shop, my shop first started there. And I normally I never told people this, but now I started telling people. My budget for my shop, it started as a home decor store. Later start, brother, my stock, it was like about 13 years ago or 12 years ago. My last stock I spent 23,500 to buy the stock for my shop. That was all the money I had. I didn't have any money now. I didn't have any money. I come from a comfortable family, okay? My parents are middle class, they're comfortable. But I, being a divorcee, I didn't want to burden my parents. Single burden that was like, I said no. I said, this is my battle, this is my struggle, and anyhow I would do it. And that struggle, I had 2 sewing machines, so when I started, it would be the machines that I had, it would be before I got married. So manual, ekta overlocker or ekta foot machine. Foot overlocker, foot machine. It went like that. Then one tailor who was with me long time back, kitty guri thaise moi aru taiga matise. And I had one assistant. Just the 3 of us in the team are machine duita. And that's how. And no money. And there were times, I'll tell you, there were times we didn't even have money for our next meal. And I did. Now when I tell my siblings, they get very irritated with me. Why didn't you tell us how much you were struggling, But for me, it was like, this is my battle. This is my struggle. And I'm going to do this on my own, So I had So I had this financial, But we used to go to work, sometimes we would take an auto, go to work, and somehow or the other we'll be able to sell something. And then somehow again we would be able to get for our, for this evening's meal or the evening's meal. And that was how we started. And that's something I want to encourage. That's why I always tell people, especially young people, if someone like me can achieve, a certain degree of success, can be where I am, then anyone can do it. Because there I was, I was a divorcee, and that time there was so much of stigma, divorce, there was so much of scandal. Number 2, nobody knew me in that sense. Like I was rebuilding my work as a designer all over again. Maybe a little bit, few people, but the wider audience didn't know me. Number 3, age was not on my side, I was not. Why didn't you tell us how much you were struggling, But for me it was like, this is my battle. this is my struggle, and I'm going to do this on my own, you know. So I had yeah. So I had this financial, kiba, every night, you know. But we used to go to work. Sometimes we would take an auto, go to work, and somehow or the other we'll be able to sell something. And then somehow again we would be able to get for our, you know, for this evening's meal or the evening's meal. And that was how we started. And that's something I want to encourage. That's why I always tell people, especially young people, if someone like me can achieve, you know, a degree of success, you know, can be where I am, then anyone can do it. Because there I was, you know, I was a divorcee. And that time, though, so much of stigma, divorce, there was so much of scandal. Number two, nobody knew me in that sense. Like I was rebuilding my work as a designer all over again. Maybe few people, but the wider audience didn't know me. Number three, age was not on my side. You know, I was not young. I was not 24, 23. I had no money, you know. I had no money, and I'm gonna start there. And then slowly, we started building, slowly. And then I remember ekbar mola baba man dinner khaidamde. I didn't tell about my struggles with my parents. I never told them anything. Mola baba bara, but he kind of I think knew. Then he said, "Tai my 3 years, I think 3 or 4 years, I was already in the business." 3 years we share. Bank account is savings be nine. Are you sure you're doing your business properly? You know? Then I said, Dad, when I started with nothing, you know, back to the business, you know. We'll keep a big banana big stool like inverter iron that was how I built. That was how we built, you know. So I said, no, you can't say that I don't have anything. I remember that's the only time Mula get chup chup. But that was how and I want to start with. A lot of sacrifices. And I want to do and give up and I will off season, client be night, and off season in Dimapur is like, Gorom, nobody is coming to you. Bill, you still have to pay salaries of 2 people, maybe that time to 3 people. You have to pay the rent, rent of my own house, my shop house. And I thought, should I give up? Serious the next year still struggling, you know, the struggle sometimes as a team grows bigger, the struggle is more, right? You have more bills to pay, as the business grows bigger, you have more responsibilities. Second time though, it came to my mind again, give up Itu time though, I let that thought stay in my head. Because the second time though, now I was serious, give up What do we give up? Or keep grow up. If we grow up, if we done na. That grows, I said, and if I give up, around 0 will start grow again. Now if we grow, I said, I can't give up. I didn't have anything to follow. I can't give up. Like, you know, like a dog, putabara hardige kamorian, that was how I kept on working, you know. And it's been about 12 years, 13 years. Now people know us a bit. And I can't say that you know. And sometimes I feel, you know, when people say, you have achieved so much, I feel, no, I don't think I can say I've achieved anything much, you know. I still see myself as struggling and all that. But at the same time, you know, I was just thinking, if I were to say that I haven't achieved whatever I have achieved, and I would be, I think, discrediting God. Because for me, in my journey, and I think for me, even if this is a secular, you know, It's not a religious gathering, but my work and my faith are intertwined, you know. Because I wouldn't be doing what I am and being able to do what I have done without God on my side, you know. And there are times, honestly, there are times, maybe you all may have experienced designing maybe it's like I have shared with people, so I get ideas that I feel download Korean is there. I feel it's not mine. I feel somebody is giving it to me, and I'm just using my hands on it. And that's why sometimes we do, especially wedding gown, step back, because sometimes I feel it's not me, it's God. You know, I'm downloading those ideas, and I'm the instrument doing it. So I feel that my journey has been, you know, so much with God, with God's help. So I would be discrediting God's contribution in my career. And therefore, I always say, I did the hard work, yes, but it's been a partnership. I work, and I'm when I'm deadline, it's like you know, we work, we earn. We don't work, we don't earn. So yeah, and it's like back-breaking work. You must know, like white white there are still times I work till when my eyes can't see. White do not blur or lights beats can't blur you know, I'm sure of the or black beat. But I am putting the God hard work. But God comes in terms of creativity. God is the one who gives the creativity to me. God is the one who has given me good health. I'm somebody who does not really fall sick. And I also believe God's favor. Design can be you know, and I believe that comes from God. So it's been a partnership. So this is my journey so far. And this morning I'm give you encouragement, you know. This is an industry which I think sometimes I shouldn't say no, I'll just say this. Sometimes people don't realize the potential that clothing industry has. Fashion industry, I tell them, makeup it was designed by someone. Even if it's a simple shirt, ekta manuba pattern do banai ekta manuba silai ekta manuba design so everything, clothing industry is such an integral part of any industry. I did Nagaland do start it was very difficult. You know, like people nijor designer lot jadu uti daishte. But now Nagas are very open to coming to, you know, to local designers to get their clothes made. I'm sure you all have a lot of clients, kapra banai dibule, manupshia hebla, and it has changed. So we have to take advantage of that. And another thing I want to say is, don't Bible do not despise the day of small beginnings. Start small, you know, keep and I always say that, you know, I used to tell my parents that, I used to say, you know, Mom, Dad, it was a waste of your money and a waste of my time. I irritated like, you know, which is maybe true or maybe not true. Of course, maybe benefit, but in terms of my livelihood, career, that's why I have a roof over my head. I have clothes to wear. I have food on my table. You know? So I always say a sewing machine is so powerful. Because machine ekta to busti chuku ekta de kinai ta thagilbi manula hem khan korido manukuru to hem ni ro na jani thage na hem phati lebi garment patch korlebi na jani na thage button silai na silawali bi na jani na thage. As long as you have a sewing machine corner ekta thagilbi, you'll be able to earn a living. So this is what I want to leave you all with, and all the best to all of you. I'm so encouraged to see someone all the best. Thank you.